Right, so today we're talking about a situation that has went ridiculously viral over the past few days, and it involves a TikToker that I'm pretty sure 99% of people watching this video have heard of at this point, and that's Keith Lee. Keith Lee being one of the biggest TikTokers on the planet, especially when you look at the amount of views he gets per video. If we just look at his page right now, he gets millions of views every single video. This one's got 47.3 million views. There's another one here with 80 million, 13.9 million. You get the point, right? A massive TikToker, and what he does is he reviews restaurants or like food trucks. He reviews people's businesses, and his opinion clearly matters a lot because a lot of people watch. And we've seen a lot of the positive effects that a good Keith Lee review can have on a restaurant. He will go to like a restaurant that is really struggling business-wise, isn't getting many customers. He'll make a video, say it's actually a really good place and you should go there, and then there'll be queues out the doors for weeks. And obviously on the flip side, if Keith Lee gives a negative review, that isn't very good for a restaurant, and 9 times out of 10 they release a statement kind of talking about the review. Right, now before we do get any further, I do just have a little disclaimer here, because throughout the video you're about to watch, I do say now and then that we don't have a full response from Keith Lee yet. That isn't true. I have since recorded like a new part when Keith Lee has actually uploaded a full video talking about the situation that's going to be towards the end of the video. So any parts where I'm like, oh, he hasn't said like a full response yet, it's not true. But yeah, it's definitely worth watching Keith Lee's full response because we do have some new crucial information that's very important to the story, but like I said, we'll get to that towards the end of the video. Now, what makes this specific situation different to the rest is that the review that Keith Lee gives on this restaurant that we're talking about today is a good one. He likes the food, he says positive things, so you would think it would have a positive effect on the restaurant. Well, in fact, it's the complete opposite, but let me add some context. So the restaurant we're talking about today is Fob Sushi Bar in Seattle. And as you can probably tell by the name, they serve sushi. This is their Instagram page right here, some of the food that they serve. Looks pretty appetizing. And of course, as you can imagine, Keith Lee recently went to this restaurant and done a review. Now, this video has caused so many other TikTokers to talk about this place that are all getting a ridiculous amount of views. I mean, if we just take a look at some other TikTokers' videos on a situation, we got ones with 7.4 million, 2.7, 9.2, 4.4, 2.8. A lot of people are very invested in this, but why are so many people invested? That's obviously what you're wondering, and this is the reason. Now, I do want to give you a bit of a pre-warning here. This might be a bit grim to people. So Keith Lee is having sushi, and it is pretty known that fish, sushi, can potentially have like worms in it. So just bear that in mind with the clip I'm about to show you.
That's my favorite one. You can see the rice.
Okay, he's got the sushi.
The texture of the rice. Especially when it comes to nigiri, it's such a simple dish, and the rice is a huge component.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
But this, as a sashimi, is high.
Okay, right, that is a very quick clip there, and you might not have even noticed what I'm referencing here, so let's go back. Now, the place you need to pay attention to is actually this part of the sushi right here, this little flick right here, and if I slowly kind of go along, you'll see that it actually moves by itself. So he's just holding it, and then it moves up like that. And to kind of show you better, I'll show you like a slow motion clip right now. Now, I do just want to make it clear, I don't know what the answer is here as to why that happened. Obviously, there's a lot of people going out their way to say that this is because of like worms and parasites and all this stuff. There are other people with like different reasoning. The restaurant has now came out and released a statement with their reasoning. So I do just want to say, I'm not saying that it's 100% because like there's worms in the food. But that definitely does seem to be the public opinion. A lot of people are saying that it seems like that this restaurant or who they get the fish from are not taking care of the fish properly, and it still has these worms inside. And if we look at the comments in this video, we can see the public reaction, right? We've got someone here saying, Fob Sushi Bar, respond to this with 60,000 likes. POV, you're here from the worm call-out videos. That's got nearly 300,000 likes. I'm mad Fob Sushi is trying to gaslight us. I know what I saw. Like I said earlier, we will get to the response later. 1 minute 50 in the video. Did anyone see that worm move in the salmon? Yeah, clearly people have made their mind up what they think it is. But if we look at this comment right here, this is kind of like one of the explanations that people were giving, right? So this comment says, worm versus bonito flakes. You be the judge. FYI, bonito flakes move from the heat, steam, and heated light. I didn't really know what bonito flakes were before this, but we do have a video here to show you.
When my food got to the table, I noticed it was still moving. It almost looked like it was still alive. But it turns out this is a popular Japanese topping called bonito flakes, which is made from fish that is dried, smoked, and then shaved extremely thin.
Okay, so you get the point, right? Bonito flakes move, which you can see why people would maybe use that as an explanation. I don't think it is this, mainly because the restaurant didn't say it was when they released their statement. So if it was, I'm sure they would have said it. But let's get to the public reaction in terms of the videos that have now been posted about this situation that are also getting millions of views. I believe this is like the original call out video, if you will, kind of mentioning this. This is kind of like the earliest video I can find in this situation. It's by a TikToker called Gucci Pooch, and this is what they had to say.
Keith Lee went to Fob Sushi in Seattle, Washington recently. I have to warn you, this is disgusting. He gave this sashimi a rating of 8.5 out of 10. I warned you. Look at the bottom corner here, okay? What's that? What's that? Oh, what is that? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna insert a little clip.
As a sashimi.
I looked into this a little bit, and it seems like, I hate to tell you, but a lot of fish have worms. And you're supposed to freeze fish before you present it for sushi if it's going to be raw to kill the wormies. And it looks like this place chose not to do that, maybe? I don't know. That's horrifying. It'll be interesting to see if he does a updated video after seeing this stuff. But I think this was posted like 5 days ago, so maybe, I don't know. The problem is I think they're actually like parasitic worms. And so that is an issue. I looked it up. I want to say no thank you to herring worm disease, where worms attach to your esophagus, stomach, or intestine. No thank you. I will not be having any of that. Okay, love you guys. Drink water. Don't. Be careful where you consume raw fish from. Bye.
Okay, so that's the video. Like I said, I think that's the original video. That's kind of what sparked all of this. A bunch more people have came out and spoke about this situation after. But yeah, you can see why people be worried. And this is definitely not a good look that you want to have for your restaurant. We then also saw a bunch of videos from TikTokers saying like, oh, I hope Keith Lee's okay. Like a lot of people were actually like worried about his health because of this. Like this video here from MARKIE, where he said this.
And people were quick to comment on the situation to warn Keith Lee what happened, but he has yet to make a video and many are thinking he might be sick.
And then we even got TikTokers trying to give like their advice to Keith Lee, like this video here from Crawford Wellness.
As a sashimi.
Please get this video in front of National Treasure Keith Lee. I am an expert at treating parasites with natural medicine. I have debunked online parasite cleanses multiple times, and you probably shouldn't do one for your mystery gut infection. However, you can get worms from eating raw fish, and if you prefer making human friends to finding unwelcome guests in your dookie, this is what you need to know. Sushi is traditionally served with perilla leaf, which you should not eat if you're getting the plastic kind, but the real one is delicious. Also usually ginger and wasabi or green-colored horseradish because wasabi is crazy expensive. But for today, either one will work, and I will tell you why. And I did not see any of those in your sushi box, Mr. Lee, but I hope you will consider them for the future because in addition to being delicious, these plants create safety.
And then he goes on further with the video. You get the point, right? A lot of people are clearly worried about Keith Lee and also pretty worried about with this restaurant, who obviously are still serving food to customers, and a lot of people wanted answers. Now, as for Keith Lee, he hasn't posted a video about this situation. He has posted like a story on his TikTok account that just says, I'm healthy, thank you, God bless y'all. I'm assuming that is a response to the situation because it is so big, it would make sense. But clearly he's saying he's okay and he's not sick because of this. Now, as for Fob Sushi Bar, they have actually responded to this with a few slides on Instagram that say, Dear valued customers, we were honoured to recently welcome Keith Lee to Fob Sushi and are incredibly grateful for his visit and the support from everyone who has stopped by. Recently, a video has been circulating online that claims worms were found in our sashimi. We want to address this claim directly and assure you that it is entirely false. At Fob Sushi, we are committed to upholding the highest health and safety standards to provide clean, fresh and safe food for every customer. All seafood served at Fob Sushi is sourced from trusted suppliers, such as Young Ocean Inc., who process their products under Hazard Analysis Critical Control Points (HACCP) regulations. This includes both fresh and frozen seafood, ensuring compliance with stringent safety standards. According to FDA's Fish and Fisheries Product Hazards and Control Guidance, third edition, freezing fish at specified temperatures effectively eliminates parasites. Freezing and storing at -4 degrees Fahrenheit for 7 days, freezing at -31 degrees Fahrenheit until solid, and storing at, they go on to just mention a bunch of the temperatures and how you're supposed to store them. All of our frozen products meet these standards, and any fresh products are intended to be frozen before consumption to completely eliminate any potential health risks. Which so far sounds all good, right? This is the stuff that you would kind of expect them to say. They're doing everything right, they're following the guidelines, they're storing the food correctly, but this is where they go on to give an explanation as to what we saw in the video. Regarding the video, the movement observed in the fish may result from natural elasticity or the pressure of chopsticks when applied to its structure. We want to assure our customers that this is not indicative of worms or any health concerns. Okay, so clearly their reasoning is either natural elasticity or the pressure of chopsticks when applied to its structure. As for the chopsticks explanation, I don't know, it doesn't really make sense to me because he's literally just holding it still and it's moved, if we can see by this clip right here. I don't know, I don't see that as being the reasoning. He's held it up for like a little while before like it actually does the movement. So, I don't know, maybe it is true. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below on this explanation. Like, do you think that this is the reason, or do you think it's something more than that? We are proud of our meticulous fish handling process, which involves careful freezing, inspection, and preparation by our skilled chefs. We have never had any issue regarding food safety and remain committed to serving you the highest quality seafood. If you have any questions or concerns, we encourage you to reach out to us directly so we can address them transparently. Thank you for your continued trust and support of Fob Sushi. Sincerely, the Fob Sushi team. Now, as for the response to this statement, we can't see directly from the Instagram account like what the response is because the comments are turned off. But TikTokers have made videos since they kind of talk about this response, so we can read the comments on there. It looks a lot like bonito flakes to me. Search for bonito flake wiggle and you'll see what happens as they touch moisture. Yeah, again, I don't think this is true because they didn't say that in the statement. They surely would have mentioned that if that was a reason. We got another comment here saying that it's from a fisherman that have said, definitely a worm. You see them a lot in fish, but normally they get cooked out. Not harmful if prepared correctly, but raw. As a former vet tech who was obsessed with parasitology, that was definitely a worm. Unpopular take, so many worms in fish, you have eaten them all dead, alive, fried. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a difference between dead and alive though, don't you think? Especially if we're talking about parasites here, but again, we don't have any like definitive answers as to what's happened in this video. I do want to make that very clear, but yeah, I think that's a little silly. I would have been skeptical if it moved down, in brackets gravity, but the figure moved upward, definitely a worm. Kiefer's probably screaming somewhere. I cannot imagine people pointing out I ate a worm all over social media, and I have to sit there like it's in me. Yeah, that's actually a fucking good point. I'd be extremely worried if that was me, but hopefully he's okay. He said in his story that he is okay, which is obviously a good thing. And then a few more comments very quickly. We got ones like, not the restaurant gaslighting us. It's sushi, guys. You accept the risk. That is 100% a worm. As a Japanese person who consumes a lot of sushi, that right there is a worm. Okay, right. So we've seen the response. It seems like a lot of people, I'd say definitely the majority of people, do think that it was a worm in the food. Right, so now it's time for the new update because Keith Lee has actually released a new video talking about the situation since I recorded the video you've just watched, and this is what he had to say.
We went to a place called Fob Sushi in Seattle the other day. Somebody slowed the video down, and it did appear that something moved. 1000% transparency. I didn't see anything until somebody pointed it out. I can't confirm or deny what it was, but I can confirm I am okay. I appreciate the people who actually did reach out and was worried about me. I'm all right.
Okay, so that's the main thing out the way. He says that he's okay. He said that he obviously didn't see anything moving, which, I mean, yeah, of course he didn't. You wouldn't eat it otherwise, would you? But now this is where we get some very worrying news that Keith Lee goes on to mention.
Only reason I'm making this video is because I just saw a video of somebody who went the day after us, and now they hospitalized. Just me and my character and who I am as a person. I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna say something about it. I send my heart and I send my blessings to that person that's in the hospital. And I've already said 1,000 times, I don't believe in tearing down any business. But at the same time, people's health are on the line. So if somebody's saying they're in the hospital and there's something moving in food, I absolutely think there's accountability that should be taken, and it's something that you can learn from.
Yeah, 100%. There has to be some type of investigation, it seems like, right? So we're seeing something move in the food. They obviously released that original statement, but now there's someone who is apparently being hospitalized. Hopefully, that person is okay. We obviously don't know many details about this, but that's extremely worrying. And Keith Lee even goes on to talk about the statement that the restaurant released.
For the restaurant to post a statement and indicate that me holding the sushi or me holding the chopsticks a certain way is why the sushi moved, I personally don't agree with it. Because I've had sushi 1,000 times and I held sushi 1,000 different ways, and never once have I seen sushi behave in that way.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about how he was like holding it in the video. He's literally holding the chopsticks, barely even moving. It doesn't seem like that was a good explanation for me.
That's not me saying it was a worm or it was a parasite. I'm just saying it was nothing that I did on my end. I literally was just eating as a customer. And as a customer, I shouldn't be the one getting blamed for if it was something moving in the food. At the end of the day, it's sushi. It's raw fish. There is risks and it's stuff that come with eating raw food, and I understand that fully. I just personally would wish that they would come out and they would be more accountable about it. Nonetheless, only thing I can do is control what I do. And I'm coming out and I'm saying I'm okay. And I pray for the lady who's in the hospital. God bless you. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe. This is my first and only time speaking on this.
Okay, so like you just heard, he said this is the first and last time he's going to speak about this situation. It was definitely worth putting a video out with everyone being worried. There's this new information about someone who has apparently been hospitalized after eating at this restaurant. I guess that's not to say it's because of eating at this restaurant, but we don't know all the details yet. Either way, extremely worrying. Now, actually, I'm only just noticing now that Fob Sushi has put out a new statement in regards to all of this, and this is what they've had to say on Instagram. This is my first time reading it. Dear valued customers, in response to recent food safety concerns, we've decided to close our Fob Sushi locations in Seattle and Bellevue until further notice. Your health and safety are our highest priorities. We are conducting a thorough investigation to address the situation. We'll take all necessary measures to prevent it from happening again. To our community, we are deeply grateful for your years of support and sincerely apologize for any inconvenience may have caused. We remain remain dedicated to providing you with the highest quality sushi. Okay, yeah, clearly something big's happened here. It makes it seem as if this whole, like, hospitalization thing is definitely true. The fact that now closing restaurants as well, it is probably the worst look that a restaurant could have, realistically, right? I mean, hopefully everything gets sorted, right? This is a wild situation, considering it all started with a positive Keith Lee review that's now became such, like, a negative situation for the restaurant. But look, I mean, there's some worrying stuff in there, like, a lot of worrying stuff, right? Something moving in the food, and now someone's being hospitalized. They are literally the worst possible things you can probably have in a restaurant, so... yeah, it's a big situation. Hopefully they do sort it. But yeah, I would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below on everything that we spoke about in the video, especially like these new updates that we've just heard. And yeah, I'm gonna leave the video there. Leave a like, subscribe, all that stuff. And until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, goodbye.